Hey people, today on Kyle's D.I.Y Aquatics, we're here to talk about breeding fish, and not just specifically breeding fish out of the blue, but we're going to talk about line breeding. We're going to cover a few subjects that I've been asked a lot of questions about. So, first one is line breeding. What is line breeding in fish? People say they've heard of it in dogs, but never heard of it in fish. Well, line breeding is where you do... Well, there's a few different ways of doing line breeding. There's the one where you do, say, the parents of the fry, and then the fry you match up with something else, well, same species, and then you end up putting them back to their grandparents, the fry from that fry. Or there's the generation line breeding, and generation line breeding is actually a lot more better in quality. What it offers, if you do it right and correct, it offers more high immunity systems to catching disease. They've got a more high immune system, so that means that their systems are more actively fighting off diseases and stuff that are trying to get inside your fish, if there is anything in your tank per se that there isn't. But let's get into it with the line breeding. Okay, the way I like to line breed, this is personal preference. I do it very much so the same as dogs. I will say, I'll go out, alright, and I'll get a pair of let's say forest jewels like I got already. Okay, well, with my forest jewels, I'm going to line breed them, but I went out, what I did was I went out and I brought a common red female. Now, I brought her in a pet store. They are rip-offs of pet stores, yes, but let's get into it. And then the male, he's actually a rare blue forest jewel cichlid, and I got him imported, wild caught, imported from Africa. And now they're not the same blood, obviously. Now this is how I'm going to line breed them though. The two that I've got in my tank here behind me, I'm actually got fry from them already, first batch. And sorry, this is actually a second batch, but the first batch, this is my own fault, and I should have known this. I mean, I do know it, but I just wasn't thinking at the time. What I did was I took the eggs out, and then they caught a fungi disease. I should have kept them with the parents in the same body of water that they were conceived in to stop any diseases or anything like that. But now, see, my fry will not have any deformities, no fin rot, nothing, because obviously they're new blood, and new blood means that they're not related at all. And with this batch of fry that I've had successful, I'm going to keep this batch, and then I'm going to set off the rest of the batches that I have until about the 4th or 5th generation, and that's about the 4th or 5th batch of fry. I'm going to keep them, and then with the first batch of fry I've got now over in the other tank, I'm going to put them with the 5th generation. But what I mean by that is, obviously you'll be thinking, well, they'll be too big. The first generation will smash the smaller fry. Well, this is how it's going to work. Once the 5th generation of fry are at a reasonable age to be put with the 1st generation of fry, I will put them together. Now, they are siblings, yes, but they're from different generations, so it will help build their immune systems up, not down. Now, this is where the common conception where people make it wrong. What people are doing is it's not their fault. They should have kept to the same sort of guidelines as dogs, from your 1st to 4th, 5th, 6th generations and all that kind of stuff. What people are doing is they're putting actual siblings together from the exact same batch. That's a no-no. Reason being is, like I was saying before, is that they will deform, fin rot, fungi diseases, all types of diseases, head and hole syndrome, white spot syndrome. They could develop anything, and then not only that, by a certain age they stop growing and look deformed and all this other stuff. That's with fish from the exact same batch. That's a no-no, because they're obviously brother and sister, full blood. At least with the 5th to 6th generation, when you put it with the 1st generation at a reasonable age, then it's new blood, but it's the same blood, but not the same siblings. It's different blood at the same time, but it also will help put all the good properties into your fish, like good coloration. Not only that, good health properties as well. The immune system will boost up tremendously and stuff like that. Now, when it comes to just generally breeding your fish, well, you can always do new blood breeding. New blood breeding is where you just two different family groups, same species, but they're from two different family groups. Meaning, like, that one was bred from them parents, and this one was bred from them parents, and then you just put the fry together and let them match up or pair up, and that's more or less it. So, like I said, with the lion breeding, it's as long as you don't do siblings from the same batch. Try to keep first generation with the fourth to fifth generation, and make sure you get a nice, good, rapid sort of growing fish. But I mean, it's up to you. Preferences are up to you. You don't have to get a fish that grows rapidly. You know, you do your favourite fish, what you like. But this is just fish in general. So that's why a lot of people, when they see peacock bass, for example, ones in the aquarium trade look a lot more washed out in colour than the ones in the wild. The reason being, there's a lot of new blood in the wild because they're not related. The way you're going to keep the coloration in with the peacock bass or any fish, like I said, is do the generations. If you're going to go line breeding, do the generations. And you'll see a tremendous lot of difference. Don't do siblings out of the same batch, please. Or if you're too frightened of line breeding, like I said, just breed where it's new blood, where it's always, or it's not from the same batch. The parents aren't the same and stuff like that. So, yeah. But other than that, you know, just happy fish tank keeping and keep it at your best, peeps, I guess. And I like to see what you have out there too, you know, not just, you know, my fish. But I like to see what you have on offer too, like, not on offer, but also on offer, but also not only that, just show off your tanks, you know, and happy fish tank keeping. And no one is ever wrong in fish tanks. You can only say what works. This is from personal references. No one is wrong or right. Only thing is what works. And if it works for you, well, then keep doing it. You know, obviously, if your fish are happy, you know, and people say, no, but you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. Don't try to block them people out there. Just more or less. All I can say is what works. For me, what works is bare bottom tanks for my breeding. That's what I keep, is bare bottom tanks. The reason being is because I don't want my fish to cut themselves and get, you know, diseases, sores and stuff like that. It's just nasty. I'll keep a nubius, but not on driftwood. As you can see, I keep them in pots there. And the reason why I keep them in pots is because the pots are made out of plastic, rubber actually. And when the fish brush along there, it doesn't cut them. The gravel can cut them, but they're not as sensitive as freshwater rays, so I'm not really worried about them cutting themselves on rocks, so they're not really going to do that, unlike freshwater rays. And the reason why I keep a nubius in there, it keeps nitrates and ammonia away. Shouldn't say away, it keeps them at a good level and stable for the fish. But the nubius plants feed off the nitrates and stuff. Yes, it is recommended to have a CO2 set up, but why would you need CO2 when I've got plenty of it pumping straight out the air filter? And yeah, because the air filter I got hooked up with a CO2 sort of gadget. I'll show that off later. But yeah, it pumps through the air filter, the CO2, as you can see right there. People probably think I'm crazy for saying it, but it's a DIY job. I'll get into that one day. But just for now, I'm just going to keep talking about the breeding and stuff like that. And yeah, I keep an Indian almond leaf in the tank for breeding. Reason why I keep an Indian almond leaf, it again, you know, helps to fight towards diseases, antifungals, stuff like that. And I hope everything that I've said that you can take into account and sort of, you know, go from there with your own breeding. And happy fish tank keeping, everybody. See ya.